kabar semuanya? Ini masih pada bergabungan. Oke, Dewi mau live-nya dari YouTube?
Sudah mulai live.
Wih, oke teman-teman, kita live juga nih loh di YouTube, baru pertama kali jadi deg-degan. Oke, kita mulai ya. Hola, Hispanistas. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Welcome, everyone, to the first day of Hispanic Week 2021. Thank you so much for joining us here on Zoom and also live on YouTube. My name is Primarita from Dime Porque, and we are a community of Spanish language students and Hispanic culture enthusiasts based in Jakarta, where we regularly organize culture activities online and offline. And we also collaborate with other communities and embassies of Spanish-speaking countries, as well as language schools. Okay, so some reminders and technicalities before we start. For everyone here on Zoom, please mute your microphone at all times. So if you have any questions during the presentation, you can just use the chat. And same goes for everyone on YouTube. If you have any questions, just type in the live chat. And during the Q&A session, we will try to go through them. And don't worry, jangan malu-malu. You can ask in any language. You can ask in Indonesian, English, or even Spanish. Okay, so I also would like to inform you that this session is recorded. And if you have difficulties connecting to Zoom, you can also go over to YouTube to watch us live or later on bit.do/HW21live. Oh my God, it's a mouthful, I'm so sorry. But the link is everywhere. It's on our Instagram, so you can check it out. All right. So another important reminder is that we have an Instagram stories competition with a grand prize from our sponsor, Line Open Chat Indonesia. So make sure to post during the session and before midnight, okay? With hashtag Hispanic Week 21. And of course, don't forget to mention us at dime.por.k and our sponsor, which is line.indo, and our speaker for tonight, which is Instituto Nebrija Jakarta at Nebrija_Jakarta, okay? So, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So Christina, you can start sharing yours.
Okay.
Okay. So tonight for the first session on Hispanic Week, we have a very interesting topic, and believe it or not, this is the most popular session. And obviously a lot of people are curious about the many different versions of Spanish between Spain and Latin American countries. So I don't want to hog the time. I'm just going to say, hola, Cristina, how are you? Thank you so much for being here.
Hola, hola Primarita, hola everyone, hi.
Hola, hola.
So yeah, thank you for letting me join. And
Thank you
yeah,
for being
so I
here.
will present myself first of all. My name
Yes.
is Ana Cristina, but you can call me Ana, okay? And I am from Ecuador. I hope you know where is Ecuador. Let's put it in the chat. Do you know where is Ecuador? Let's see, let's see. Where is Ecuador? What do you think? See, Christy, see, you know where's Ecuador? South America, Naufal. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you are correct. And the capital city of Ecuador is Quito. Correct. Everyone, you are correct. Yeah. I am from Quito, from Ecuador. Okay. And it is a small country in South America. In fact, our population is 17 million. If you compare that to only Jakarta, Jakarta is 11 million. So my whole country is almost like Jakarta only. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, it's a small country. Okay. But it is very well known to be considered as one of the four worlds in only one country. So why? Basically, we
Christina,
have
I'm sorry. On your screen, there's a block on the right side. I think it's blocking the picture.
it's blocking the picture. There, can
Yeah.
you?
Yes. I think it's your video. Yeah. Now it's gone. Cool.
Now it's gone? Okay.
Yes.
Vale. So yeah, as you can see here in the picture, we have on the right, the mountainous area, okay? So in Ecuador, we have a lot of volcanoes, okay? That's part of the section called Sierra, okay? We also have a coast. We also have a tropical jungle, which is called Oriente. And we also have an island. As you can see, these birds are from an island called Galapagos, which is part of Ecuador. And in Galapagos, we have many species that are only found in this island. That's why this island is very protected. So it's touristic, yes. You can go and visit Galapagos, but it is very limited, okay? Because it's an island that it's very protected. In fact, Charles Darwin, okay, he actually went to Galapagos, and when he saw the wildlife of Galapagos, that is what inspired him to develop the theory of evolution. So as you can see, yeah, there's a lot of unique species in this island. Another thing is that Ecuador was colonized by the Spanish people, okay? And because of that, we have a lot of churches, okay? So the population there in Ecuador is very Catholic, okay? And this is mainly because of the colonization. And another important aspect of Ecuador is that our we are mainly we're Hispanic, okay? So we're a mixture between the Spanish people and also the indigenous people, okay? This mixture is called mestizos, okay? So the majority of us, we are mestizos, which is the mixture between the Spanish people and the indigenous people. And one of the most important things in Ecuador is that we are in the middle of the equatorial line. That's why we are called Ecuador. Okay? Let's go to the next one. Okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna play a game, okay? I'm gonna show you some famous Hispanic people, okay? And you are going to try to guess the name. So everyone, you can type in the chat the name of these Hispanic people, okay? Example, the first one, what do you think? Yep, muy bien, very good. Yes, all of you, Shakira, this is Shakira, perfect. Shakira, she is from Colombia. Yep, muy bien. The next one, let's see. Who is this? A famous soccer player. Sí, muy bien. Lionel Messi, Lionel Messi, sí. Perfect. Everyone, you got it. Yeah. This is Messi, and he is actually from Argentina. So yeah. The next one, who do you think she is? See, Risa, very, very good. J-Lo, J-Lo, yep. Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, correct. Jennifer Lopez, yeah, she with Shakira, she actually did the Super Bowl this year. Well, last year, but yeah. The next one that we have is, who is this? This is a famous actress. Nice. Yeah, Ryan Christie. Yeah, perfect. This is Sofia Vergara. And yeah, you are correct. She's from Colombia. She looks like all of the Miss Universe, I guess. Miss Universe from Colombia, they all look like this. But yeah, she is a famous actress, correct? Okay, who is she? Who is she? Sí, muy bonita, Willia, sí. And yeah, perfect. Muy bien, muy bien. Perfect, Cardi B, Cardi B, Cardi B, correct, correct. Okay, correct. She is Cardi B. She is a mixture, yeah. Mostly you will hear her talk in English, yeah, because she was born in Puerto Rico, but then she went to the States. So yeah, she's a mixture between the States and Puerto Rico. Okay, the next one is this famous singer. Who do you think she is? Muy bien, Rian. Rosalía. Rosalía, sí, perfect, perfect. She is from Spain, actually. She's from Spain. And yeah, nowadays she's very popular. And she has some of the most popular songs in Spanish nowadays. Okay, the next one, let's see. Who is she? Sí, Widia, perfect. Muy bien, muy bien. Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez is, again, she's a mixture between Mexican and from United States as well. So yeah, she comes from Mexico, but she lives in the United States, correct. Vale, next one. Oh, this is, I hope you see telenovelas, everyone. Sí, Angelique. This is Thalia, muy bien. She's already a little bit older now, but back in the day, she did a lot of telenovelas. Soap operas, sí, muy bien. Vale, the next one. He's a rapper, or he is a reggaeton singer. Sulfi says J Balvin. Faisa says Bad Bunny. Selena says Bad Bunny. And yeah, the correct answer is Bad Bunny. Aha, Bad Bunny nowadays very popular. He sings reggaeton. Okay, so yeah. The next one, it's another reggaeton artist. Anyone knows who this is? J Balvin. Yeah, you got it. Wow. Yep, this is J Balvin. He is also Colombian, and yeah, he's a reggaeton artist. Okay, what about her? She's an actress. Bella, sí, Penélope Cruz. Muy bien, muy bien. Everyone see, this is Penélope Cruz. She is actually from Spain. And yeah, she is very famous because she is a popular actress. Muy bien, muy bien. And the last one, muy guapo, very handsome. He's also from Colombia. Maluma, muy bien, perfect, everyone. Yep, this is Maluma, baby. Maluma, yes. Do you think he's handsome? Hermoso, Widia, hermoso. He's handsome. Yeah, he is very beautiful. Yeah. And he comes from Colombia as well. Okay. Vale, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the difference between Spanish and Castellano, okay? So in Latin America, the Spanish language is called Español, okay? But in Spain, the Spanish language is actually called Castellano. So why? Why is this difference? In Latin America, it's called Spanish because it's from where the language was brought from Spain, España, okay? And in Spain, it's called Castellano because it refers to the Castile province, okay, or the provincia de Castilla, okay, Castile province. And actually, many people say that here is where the language originated. So many people say that in the Castile province, the language was originated. And that's why in Spain, they still consider Spanish language as Castellano, okay? But nowadays, with all the globalization and nowadays that Spanish is very popular because of the songs, because of the series, etc., etc., most of the people call it just Spanish, español, okay? Also, it's because the word in English is Spanish. It's most similar to say español because the language in English is called Spanish than to say Castellano, okay? That's why nowadays everyone refers to Spanish to español, okay? Bye. Now we're going to talk about the vocabulary. So why do we have different vocabulary, different words in Spain and some different words in Latin America? Here's some examples. Móvil versus celular. This is your mobile phone, your mobile phone. Móvil is where the Spanish people say móvil, and in Latin America we say celular. Another example is ordenador versus computadora. Ordenador, mostly the Spanish people say ordenador, and computadora, we say it in Latin America. It means your computer. And another example, and this you might have heard a lot, is coche versus carro. Coche, they say it in Spain, and carro, they say in Latin America, okay? But why this happens? Why do we say different words to different things? Okay, the main reason why, okay, is because many of these words, okay, were incorporated into the to the main languages people used to speak. Okay, so before the colonization, people in each country had their own languages. Like, for example, in Ecuador, before the colonization, before the Spanish people came to Ecuador, we had our own language, which it was Quechua. Okay, so we actually speak a lot of Quechua before the Spanish came, and then we combine that with the Spanish language. So you have to consider that in each country, before the Spanish came, we were actually speaking our own languages. Okay, so that's the main reason why the vocabulary may vary between Latin America and Spain, and also there is an influence of the people and the countries around a certain place or around a certain country. So, for example, let's talk about Mexico. If you see which of the countries are near Mexico is United States, okay? So that actually affects the vocabulary and also the way they speak, okay? We actually borrow some words from the countries that are nearby. In this case, let's see Mexico and the United States. If you want to say jeans, okay, let's say you want to say jeans in Spanish. if you want to say jeans in Spanish in Spain, then you have to say vaqueros, okay, vaqueros. But if you want to say jeans in Mexico, you just say jeans, and that is considered a Spanish word, okay? And this is because of the influence United States has in Mexico, okay? We tend to borrow these words. Also, let's say you want to say shorts, okay? If you want to say shorts, you say in Spain, pantalones cortos, pantalones cortos. But in Mexico, you only say shorts. So exactly the same as in English. You say shorts or you say jeans, and that's because of the influence that these countries have, okay? But in terms of the vocabulary, you have to be careful, a little bit careful, okay, when you say some words. For example, the verb coger, okay? Coger in Spain, it actually means to grab something, okay? But in Latin America, it means to have sex. So imagine if you go and say coger in Colombia, everyone will be like, what are you talking about? That's like the vulgar way to say to have sex, okay? So there are some words that you need to be a little bit careful, okay, when you use it. Here we have a chart comparing the most typical words that in some places are completely different, okay? For example, here we have the English word baby, and in most of the countries in Latin America, baby is bebé, okay? But in Chile, they actually say guagua, guagua to bebé. Guagua is actually it's a Quechua word, okay? And in Cuba, guagua is actually a bus, okay? Another example is shell, okay? The English word is shell. In most of the countries, you will you translate it by concha, okay? But in Mexico, concha, it's actually the name of a cookie. It's a sweet cookie. But in other countries, concha, it's the vulgar name to talk about the vagina, okay? So there you can see that, yeah, some of these words vary into the different countries, okay? Another example is tail, okay? Tail in most of the countries is cola, which I'm referring to the tail of an animal, for example, okay? But it can also mean the a line of people. So for example, if you go to the bank, then you say, oh, hay cola. It's like basically there's a line of people in the bank, okay? But in Colombia, the the word cola is actually your butt, okay? In Ecuador, cola means soda, and that basically is because we shorten Coca-Cola, and it's to refer to a soda, okay? And in other languages, cola, it also means glue, okay? Vale, here you have all of these other words. Let's go to another crazy one, like dog, okay? In most of the countries, dog, it's perro, okay? But in El Salvador or in Guatemala, perro, they say it as cucho, cucho, okay? But in other countries, cucho, it's actually your armpit odor, okay? And cucho in Chile is actually jail, it's the jail, okay? Another one is strawberry, okay? In most of the countries, strawberry is fresa, okay? But in Argentina, Uruguay, or the southern part of Latin America, we call it frutilla. But frutilla in Mexico is actually when you want to refer to a person that is super egocentric. That's when you call it, oh, que frutilla. That means a person that is like too super egocentric, okay? And here's another one, super crazy, is the straw. The straw in most of the places, and in Spain as well, is called pajita. But pajita in other countries is actually the vulgar name to say that a person is masturbating. Okay, so that's how the vocabulary actually varies into each country. As you can see here, the straw in Colombia is called pitillo. In Chile, it's called bombilla. In Mexico, it's called popote. In Peru, in Ecuador, it's called sorbete. So yeah, as you can see, there are many words for the same word, okay? But that's because of all the native languages that all these countries had before the Spanish came and colonized, okay? Vale. Next thing that we're gonna use, or that we're gonna talk is about accents, okay? So the accents, especially the C and the Z, okay? In Latin America, these two letters are pronounced as S. As you can hear me, um, here you have an example. I say Barcelona, almost like an S. But in Spain, you will hear more like a TH sound, okay? So you would not say Barcelona, you will say Barcelona. Another example is the color blue, azul. In Latin America, you will say azul. In Spain, you will say azul, okay? And then another example is cinco cervezas, that means 5 beers. In Latin America, you say cinco cervezas, but in Spain, you will have to say cinco cervezas, okay? That's the difference. So what do you think, guys? Which one is more complicated? The Spanish accent or the Latin American accent? Let's put it in the chat. Which one is more complicated to say? Azul or azul? Cervezas or cervezas? So everyone is saying, oh, España, España, Spanish accent, Spanish accent. Pero me gusta, you like it. Okay, muy bien, muy bien. Yeah, I think that for Indonesian people, okay, it's easier to say everything with the S. Barcelona, Azul, Cinco, etc., etc. It's easier, okay? But remember, both of these accents are completely correct, okay? Now, why do we have different accents between Latin America and Spain? That's a very common question that I hear. And there are two theories, okay? The first theory, it's from a legend, okay, that this accent started with the King Ferdinand. King Ferdinand, most of the people say that he had a lisp. He wasn't able to pronounce the Z and the C correctly, okay? And that's why, because he was a king, everyone wanted to be like him, right? So they started to copy him, and that's why everyone pronounced in Spain, everyone pronounced the C and the Z as th sound, okay, because of this lisp. And then you have this other theory that is Puerto de Indias, okay? After the colonization between Spain and Latin America, the main link between these two countries was this port called Puerto de Indias, okay? And this port was mainly to help these two countries to have a communication, to have commercial ties, to have cultural ties, okay? And this port is actually located in the southern part of Spain, okay? So in the southern part of Spain, especially or mainly in Andalusia, okay? This port is in Andalusia. And in this part of Spain, people do not pronounce the Z and the Z as a th sound. They actually pronounce it as S, okay? So most of the colonizers who went to Latin America were from the southern part of Spain. And those were the ones who brought the accent of the C and the Z with an S sound, okay? That's why in Latin America we pronounce the C and the Z with an S. Okay. Another common question that I always hear, okay, is this: why people change the R for an L? Okay, like for example, Puerto Rico instead of saying Puerto Rico. Okay, so this is basically in more like the Caribbean Spanish. Okay, in places that are not Caribbean, you will not hear that the people change the R for an L. Okay, this is mainly in the Caribbean. Okay, and this type of phonetical phenomenon is called lambdacism. Okay, lambdacism is mainly when you change the R for an L. Okay, the the countries that actually change this R for an L are Puerto Rico, Cuba, or the Dominican Republic. Okay, all of these, as you can see, are from the Caribbean. Okay, and the people that try to imitate this accent normally will say something like, oh, Puerto Rico. So everyone thinks that people from the Caribbean change every single R for an L, but that's completely wrong. Okay, they do not change every single R for an L. No, as you can see here, it's not Puerto Rico, it's Puerto Rico. So when do they actually pronounce the R is when you have a more vibrant R, when you have a double R. Okay, like for example, when the word starts with an R, you cannot change it for an L. Okay, like for example, if I tell you the name Roberto, as you can see, my R is Roberto. Okay, in Latin America, like in these countries, Puerto Rico, Cuba, or Dominican Republic, they still pronounce it Roberto. You will never hear Loberto. No, no, no. Okay, another word, for example, with the R, like very vibrant or double R, is Raúl, another name, Raúl, let's say. Again, it starts the word with an R, you cannot change it for an L. But when you do have the R that is not as vibrant, okay, or more like a single R, for example, you have, let's say, this word, verde, okay? As you can see, verde, I am not saying verde, no, I'm saying verde, okay? The R is like a single R, okay? It's not too vibrant, okay? And that's, and also the word is not starting with an R, that's when you can actually change it for an L. So instead of saying verde, they say verde, which is green, okay, the color green, okay? Let's say another one, amor, which is love, okay? Amor, some people in the Caribbean part of Latin America, they say amol, amol, okay? Again, the R is not as vibrant. If I say amor, amor is not amor, okay? Look at the R. It's not as vibrant. So that's when you can change it to an L. Another example, it can be this one. Carne. Carne means meat, okay? Carne, I am saying carne. No, I am saying carne. Yeah, no, but carne. And that's when you can actually change it for carne. Okay, so why do they do this? Why are they changing the R's for an L? Okay, the main reason why is because there was a linguistic influence from the American slaves in the 16th century. Okay, so many of the languages that come from Africa, they do not have a vibrant R. Okay, they do not pronounce the R, and that's why all of these slaves who came to America, they were like, oh my God, we cannot pronounce the R. Let's change it to an L, because for them, that was a familiar sound. So they started to change every single R for the L, okay? And actually, experts say that between the 16th century and the 19th century, 750,000 of African slaves were transferred to Cuba. In fact, in the 19th century, in Cuba, the African American slaves represented the 40% of the population of this island. So imagine Cuba, in the 19th century, 40% of the population were African slaves. And all of these African slaves were pronouncing the R as an L. So they say, you know what? It actually makes sense. And the population started to change this R for the L, okay? They got stuck with that, okay? And they decided, you know what? It's less of an effort to pronounce the words with an L than to pronounce it with an R. It's better to say verde. It's more relaxed than to say verde. It's more of an effort for you to say verde than to say verde. Verde is more like you relax your mouth, okay? So that's why they got stuck with this, because of the African slaves. The next thing that a lot of students ask is the pronunciation of the double L. Is it me llamo, me llamo, me llamo? Which one? Which one should I use? Okay, and that's a great question. The countries that use yo me llamo with the pronunciation of the double L super marked are from Argentina, from Uruguay, and from Paraguay. Okay. The difference between yo me llamo and yo me llamo, it is this. When you say yo me llamo, okay, when you use the Y in instead of the double L, that is called yeísmo. Okay, yeísmo is basically the same sound of the Y and the double L. And when you use the sound reilado, this is basically when you do a friction sound. The Y is ye, but the double L is je. It's more like you're pronouncing sh all the time. Okay. So some of the examples that I can give you is the color amarillo. Amarillo, you will hear that in Argentina, in Uruguay. Okay, they use this sound as sh. Amarillo, which is yellow. Okay. Another one that you can hear is playa. Okay, playa, which means the beach. Okay, playa y amarillo. What do you say? Playa? If you use playa y amarillo, that will be a yeísmo. You're using the W and you're using the double L as the same sound. But if you use playa, or if you use amarillo, you're using reilado, which is like this friction of the sound, like more like sh, playa, amarillo. Yo me llamo, okay? So, why did this happen? Okay, that's a great question as well. And mainly is because of the Portuguese, the Italian, and the French immigration influence that these countries had. Okay, so the strong presence of these countries, from Portugal, from Italy, from France, actually changed the way people speak, the accents they have, and also the vocabulary they use in these countries. Okay, as you can see, like most of the Italian people tend to use their hands to express, like they use this gesture is super Italian. And in Argentina, you can also find that gesture. For example, they say, che, boludo. That means like, hey, man. And they use these type of gestures because the Italian people use also to use this type of gestures. okay? From the Portuguese influence, that's where this sh sound comes from. The rei lado sound comes from the Portuguese. Why? The Portuguese, the words that the Portuguese say, let me give you some examples, like, let's say viaje, okay? The word viaje, which is like a trip, okay? It's in Spain, in Spanish. But in Portuguese, you don't say viaje, you mainly say viajem, viajem, like that, okay? And as you can hear, okay, it's like a j sound, okay? Another one I can give you is mensaje. Mensaje is a message in Spanish, but in Portuguese, okay, you say mensajem, mensajem. As you can see, I am pronouncing the sh quite a lot. So that's where the influence of the Portuguese got stuck in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, and that's why they pronounce yo me llamo or la playa amarillo because of these words in Portuguese, okay? So why only Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and these southern parts of Latin America use the double L so vividly? It's mainly because, as you can see, to do this type of accent, yo me llamo or playa, it's an effort for you to say it that way, okay? It was more complicated to pronounce the double L than to pronounce it everything with a Y. Yo me llamo, playa, amarillo. It's more complicated to pronounce the double L than to pronounce the Y. And that's the main reason why other countries in Latin America do not use it. But in Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay, they still use it, yo me llamo, o playa, mensaje, etc., etc. Okay? Vale. The next one. Another question, very, very popular question. The S reduction. Okay. So the S reduction basically, again, is in the, this happens in the coastal parts of Latin America, also in the southern or in the Caribbean parts of Latin America, but this also happens in southern parts of Spain, when the S becomes more like an H sound, okay? They say vamos. It's not like vamos, let's go. It's more like vamos, vamos a la playa, let's say, yeah? So this actually does have a little bit like a rule, okay? So if the S is after a vowel, you have to pronounce the S, okay? Like, let me give you an example. Casa. As you can see in casa, which is home or house, okay? Casa, the S is after a vowel. In this case, the vowel is A, the A, okay? Casa, you cannot say caja, no. You have to say casa. Another example, let me put it here. Hombres, okay? Hombres is men, plural for men. And you do not say hombre, no. You say hombres, okay? Again, as you can see, the S, yeah, is after a vowel. In this case, the vowel is the E, okay? And let me give you another one. This one, uvas. Uvas means grapes, okay? Uvas, you do not say uva, no. You say uvas. Why? Because again, the S is after a vowel. In this case, the A. But when you have the S before a consonant, then you can do this H sound instead of the S. Some of the examples can be isla. Isla means an island, okay? And as you can see, the S okay, is before a consonant. The consonant here is L. When it is before a consonant, you can say isla. Instead of isla, you say isla. Okay, you can do that. And another one, escuela, which means your school. Okay, you can actually say escuela instead of escuela because the S is before a consonant. In this case, the consonant is the C. Okay, so why this happens? Okay, so there are two reasons why. Okay, first of all, when people stop pronouncing the S, okay, it's because they're speaking super fast. Also because they're speaking super casually with friends, with family, okay? So they tend to relax these consonants. So you will see that people from the Caribbean tend to relax not only the S, but they tend to stop pronouncing the D or the T or things like that because they are very relaxed, okay? They want to be relaxed in their mouth, okay? And they stop talking with their consonants, okay? Now, again, this is because of the colonization, okay? Especially from people from Andalusia in Spain, as I already told you, the colonizers who went to Latin America were from Andalusia, and in Andalusia they do not pronounce the S as much. Okay, in fact, it is known that 37% of the people who colonized America were from Andalusia. Okay, so this southern part of Spain is key. And that's why in Latin America we have all these differences with Spain. Okay, and the other reason why people do this S reduction is because of the French influence. Okay, as you can see, when French speak, they do not pronounce the S. Okay, I'll give you some examples here, like Jacques. Jacques, you actually spell it Jacques, okay? But in French, you do not pronounce the S. It's only Jacques. It's not Jacques. No. Other name like François. You spell it like this. Francois, François, okay? But you do not pronounce the S. The S is silent, completely silent in French, okay? So when we had this French influence in America, and they saw that people were not pronouncing the S, especially in these the Caribbean parts of Latin America. We saw that they tend not to use the S, so let's do that as well. Okay, so again, they got stuck with this, okay, for not pronouncing the S because of not only the colonization from Spain, but also from the French influence. Okay. Now, many students ask if there is a neutral accent in Spanish. By neutral accent, guys, I am talking about the way of speaking Spanish that doesn't identify with any specific countries, like the neutral as possible, okay? It does exist, but only and mainly in commercials, in TV programs, or in movies, okay? If you go to the streets, you will never hear someone with a neutral accent. That doesn't exist, okay? Most of the place where they do the dubbing for the movies is in Mexico, okay? So, even though they say that it's neutral when we have these TV shows or movies, it's still a little bit of Mexican accent, mainly because that's the place where they do the dubbing of the movies. Okay. Now, there are some countries where they consider themselves, or people in general consider these countries as to have the most neutral accents. In this case, it's Lima, the capital of Peru, Quito, capital of Ecuador, and Bogota, capital of Colombia. In these three cities, yeah, everyone considered them as the most neutral Spanish possible. Why? mainly because in these three cities, people do not cut the words. We tend to speak slower than other countries. And we actually pronounce every single vocal, every single vowel, every single consonant, anything. We do pronounce it, okay? It's not like the Caribbean parts of Latin America that they stop pronouncing the R's, stop pronouncing the S's. No, we do pronounce every single consonant, every single vowel. So that's why these three cities are considered mostly the neutral as possible of the Spanish language, okay? But to be honest, this neutral accent doesn't exist. You will not hear this in the streets. You will not hear this. And if we do have a neutral accent, that will be a little bit crazy because not everyone is the same. Every single country has their own accent, their own vocabulary, and that's what makes the language super rich. So yeah, not everyone is the same. That's why we do not have a neutral accent. Okay, guys, so we're gonna play a game. Okay, mainly you're gonna hear the accent and you're gonna try to guess the country of the accent that I'm going to play. Okay, let me see if you can hear. Can you hear that? Please put it in the chat, see or not. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you can hear. Okay, then I am going to let you hear this sound, and you're gonna try to guess if it's from Colombia, from Mexico, or from Spain. Okay.
Hola a todos, yo soy Juan de Hispanic, soy realizador audiovisual, me gusta mucho el cine y el... ¿Qué onda, güey? ¿Cómo estás? Yo todo bien, aquí todo chido.
Okay, so let's see if you guys guessed. Which country? Mexico. Yeah, you got it. At first, it's a little bit difficult to guess the country, but then when he starts talking about the expressions of this country, like órale, way, that's when you know, oh, it's Mexico. So yeah, perfect, everyone. Yeah, Mexico. Dijo way. Yeah, that's true. He said órale, way. And yeah, vale, we're gonna go to the next one.
¿Qué onda, güey? ¿Cómo estás?
Sorry. Okay, the next one, you're gonna guess between Chile, Mexico, or Argentina. Okay.
Hola a todos, yo soy Karin, soy profesora de español de Idioma Pro y trabajadora social. Bueno, algunas de las cosas que me gustan es andar en bici, viajar, cocinar, cantar y conocer personas de distintos países. En mi país puedes escuchar expresiones como pololo, me entendí, cachai, cómo estáis, voy al tiro, weón, etc.
Okay, so let's see if you guessed it. I'll say Argentina, Chile, or Argentina. Chile, por supuesto. Of course, Chile, Argentina. Okay, so you're between Chile and Argentina. That makes sense because they're so close to each other. They're in the southern part of Latin America. But in this case, she is saying some...
En mi país...
She's saying some of these expressions. Let's hear again the expressions that she's saying that only in that country they use. Let's see.
Cantar y conocer personas de distintos países.
Okay.
En mi país puedes escuchar expresiones como pololo, me entendí, cachai, cómo estáis, voy al tiro, weón, etc.
Okay, so yeah, in this case, is Chile. Actually, the correct one, guys, is Chile. She's saying, weón, cachai, como estai. Those are the expressions of Chile, Chile, Chile. Okay, nice. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, there. You're gonna try to guess between Argentina, Spain, or Ecuador. Let's see.
Hola, soy Marina de Notes in Spanish. Estoy en una región al norte de mi país. Es una región muy montañosa y hemos venido a caminar por la montaña y a estar en la naturaleza. Algunas de las expresiones más populares en mi país son: es una pasada, ¿qué pasada? Alucinante, mola mazo.
Yeah, muy bien. Everyone, a ver, we have between Spain, España, yeah, and some of you said Argentina. But yeah, the correct answer here is Spain. Sometimes, yeah, between Argentina and Spain, they can sound a little bit similar, but when she started talking about the expressions, que mola, and things like that, only in Spain. Vale, muy bien. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Y a estar en la naturaleza.
Wait, 1 second. There. Okay, you're gonna try to guess between Venezuela, Mexico, or Chile.
Hola, mi nombre es Mariela y soy profesora de español online. Lo que más me gusta es la comida. Me encanta comer, sobre todo si voy a compartirla con gente agradable. Tres expresiones típicas de mi país. Chamo, ¿qué vamos a hacer hoy, chamo? Pana, él es pana mío. Chévere. Ay, qué chévere que viniste.
Okay, so let's see your answers. Venezuela, pana. She said chévere. Chévere means cool, cool. So yeah, chamo. Yeah, Venezuela, chamo. Perfect. And yeah, because of the expressions, that's what you can guess the country. So yeah, the correct answer is Venezuela. Very good. Venezuela, they tend to pronounce the S as an H sound. Okay, so yeah.
Chamo.
Okay, the next one, and this is the last one, you're gonna try to guess between Venezuela, Colombia, or Spain. ¿Vale? Let's see.
Hola, mi nombre es Andrea, tengo 25 años, soy profesora de español también online y me encanta enseñar español, me encanta viajar y también conocer otras culturas. Tres expresiones muy populares de mi país son: número 1, ¡qué bacano! Es como decir, that's awesome. Número 2, ¡qué chévere! Es como en inglés decir, that's great. Y la número 3, ¿qué hubo? ¿Qué más?
Okay, let's see your answers. Okay, Colombia. Perfect. I recognize her voice. Really, canta? That's crazy. And yeah, Christy is saying, qué bacano. So cool. Ajá, qué bacano. Yeah. Colombia, tierra querida, Yanti. Someone likes Colombia, huh? Yeah, perfect, guys. This is Colombia. And as you can see, she's actually speaking really slow compared to the other ones. And she actually tries to have like this clear as possible accent. Okay, so yeah, in Colombia, sometimes in Peru and sometimes in Ecuador, they people in general feel like we have the most neutral accent. Okay, bye. Let's continue, guys. So another topic that you guys mostly ask is the difference between vosotros and ustedes. Okay, so vosotros is the plural form of you. It's used in a casual manner. Okay, and in Latin America, the term vosotros is barely used. It barely exists. Okay, in Latin America, you would not hear people saying vosotros at all. It's so formal that we stop using it. Okay, but in Spain, ustedes is when they used to show formality. When something is super formal, then you use ustedes. And in Latin America, ustedes is for both formal and informal situations. It doesn't matter. We say usted, ustedes to everyone. It doesn't matter if it's formal or informal. Okay. Now, another question. What is the difference between tú and vos? Here we have an example. ¿Cómo estás tú? And she answers, muy bien, ¿y vos? Okay, probably this girl on the right is from Argentina or maybe from Paraguay. And yeah, that's because in these countries, in Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, also Nicaragua and Costa Rica, they tend to use this form vos, which is exactly the same as tú or you, okay? But vos, back in the day, this is back in the day, was very formal. But now when you use vos, it's considered informal. Same with tú, it's considered very informal, okay? When you say tú to someone, you are talking with your family or you're talking with your close friends, okay? That's when you use tú. So the term vos, okay, started in the 4th century. The form vos appeared when they start to refer to the emperors, to the king. That's where they used this form vos because it was so respectful. Okay, here you can see in the photo it says, "Don't say tú to the king. Say vos." It's more respectful. Okay, so to refer to this king in Spain, they used the term vos. It was for respect. But then vos started to become more and more popular, and it actually replaced the form tú. Okay, when people wanted to say hi to a stranger, they didn't want to be unpolite, so they started to use vos instead of tú. So everyone was very polite to each other. Okay, but then the problem was that vos in the singular form it was vos, and then in the plural form it was also vos. So this created like a little bit like a problem because everyone started to make mistakes. Are you referring to one person or are you referring to a group of people? What are you talking about? Okay, but then in the 16th century, the form usted was created, okay, to avoid this confusion with the form vos. Now usted was created, okay, and they decided to use usted to address to the king. Now usted was the main word to address to someone respectfully, and vos started to disappear, okay. But then in the 16th century, the colonization happened. So the Spanish went to America and they decided to use the form vos instead of usted. And this was mainly to show that they were from the nobility. They were one step on top of the people that they were colonizing, okay? This was to show that we are more powerful than you guys in America, okay? So that's why they started to use again this form vos, okay? So in this case, okay, most of Latin American countries kept on using vos because of the colonization. But then, for example, places like Mexico, they were like, you know what? We do not have a king here. After the colonization, they realized we do not have a king. Why are we talking with vos? We don't need to show that much of respect. It's so formal that why are we still using vos? Because they didn't have these royalties in Mexico, they decided to stop using the form vos. But in other places like Argentina, okay, for centuries, Argentina was actually under the rule of the King of Spain. So in Argentina, they were actually like a Spanish colony. Okay, so for them, the form vos was actually still very used because they were under the King of Spain. They had to look up to the King of Spain. So for them, the form vos was still used, okay, and that's why until now they still use it, but not in formal situations, mostly in informal situations, okay? Now, how do you conjugate with the form vos? We're gonna see here. We have an example, the verb comer, which is to eat, okay? With tú, you say tú comes in the present form. Vos, you say comes. Usted come. Vosotros coméis y ustedes comen. Now, how do you conjugate a verb with vos? Mainly, what you need to do is go to vosotros, okay? And then you stop using the I. So instead of coméis, now you're gonna use comes without the I, okay? So in some countries that the vos is not too popular, for example, in Ecuador, we tend to use vos with the same conjugation as tú. So we say vos comes, okay? But in Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, these southern parts of Latin America, they still use vos and they conjugate vos exactly the same as vosotros, but stop using the I. Instead of coméis, now it's comes. As you can see, the accent is in the same position. Yeah, you just omit the I. Okay. Now let's talk about culture. So, what are the main differences between Latin America and Spain? First of all, Spain is in Europe and Latin America is in America. Okay. So some people might say that because Spanish people are in Europe, they're a little bit colder, and the people from Latin America are a little bit more amicable. But that, honestly, guys, that depends on the person. It's not a fact, and it actually depends on the person. Okay. We also have different looks. Spanish people, they look more European, and in Latin America, we look as a mixture between the indigenous people and the people from Europe, in this case, Spain. Okay, that mixture is called mestizo. So we have different looks. For us in Latin America, our skin, not me, I look like a I look like a ghost. I am very, very pale. But most of the people in Latin America, they have this the skin is a little bit darker, and in Spain they're more white, okay, because they are from Europe. Now, in terms of greetings, okay, there's one specific thing that we do different is when we want to say hello. When we want to say hello to someone in Spain, they actually give two kisses on your cheek. But in Latin America, we only give one. I have to say that in both places, we tend to be very, very amicable. And even though you're saying hi to a stranger, you might tend to hug or kiss the person. Okay, that happens both in Spain and in Latin America. And the other thing that I wanted to say is this. Mostly of my students, they say, so Ana, when do you use usted and when do you use tú when you just met someone? That's a great question, okay? The first approach to a person, to a stranger, what do you use? Do you use usted? Do you use tú? Are we formal? Are we informal? Okay, so in this case, I have to tell you that it depends a lot on the person. It depends a lot on the situation you're in. So for example, let's say you are in a party and all the people around you are your same age or they look like your age. Then you're definitely not going to treat them with usted. You're going to treat them with tú, because it's like, it's so formal to treat people of your same age with usted. And imagine in a party, it's like completely informal situation. So you tend to use tú. Now, let's say you want to address a waitress or a waiter in a restaurant. What do you use, tú or usted? I recommend to use usted. Okay, both in Spain and in Latin America, I recommend to use usted. Why? Because it's a stranger. You don't know that person and you want to be polite. He is serving you. So you want to be polite. You want to say thank you in a more polite way. So you normally use usted. And then, Ana, what do I use if I want to address to my teacher? Let's say you're learning Spanish and you want to address your teacher. What do you use, tú or usted? It also depends. Let's say I am your teacher, okay? If you look at me, I hope you see this, but I look younger, okay? So if your teacher is younger and joyful and, you know, it looks like almost your age, then you're gonna try to treat her with tú, a little bit less formal, okay? But let's say you have an older teacher, okay? And let's say the class is super formal, then I recommend to treat him with or her with usted. But this also depends on the person, because there are some older people or people that are older than you, okay, that feel that if you treat them with usted, they feel a little bit like, why are you so formal? Why do you treat me with usted? You make me feel old, okay? So you can ask the person. In fact, most of the cases, let's say you're addressing a teacher and you use usted, he will be like, or she will be like, you know what, just treat me with tú, that's okay. And that's it. Nothing to be awkward about. Even for us, for native speakers, it's still like we don't know how to address people with tú or with usted for the first time. But the recommendation that I give is look at the look at the expressions, look if the situation is formal or informal, and look if the person is older or younger in comparison of your age. That's when you're gonna try to use usted or use tú. But in the restaurants, I recommend to use usted, okay? Because you don't know that person and you're trying to be polite, okay? Now, why should I learn Spanish? So, Ana, why should I learn Spanish? I have to tell you, first of all, that we speak Spanish not only in Latin America and in Spain, but also in Africa. In 3 continents, we speak Spanish, in America, in Europe, and in Africa. In Africa, there's this little place called Equatorial Guinea or Guinea Equatorial, and then the official language of Equatorial Guinea is Spanish. Second, why should I learn Spanish? Because it's on the top 3 most spoken languages in the world. So after the Mandarin and after English, it goes Spanish. Okay, so Spanish is a very important language to learn, and also you can also learn it because it's the second most used language in social media. Okay, now this is one of the most common questions I've been receiving, and it's, which version should I learn? Should I learn the Spanish version? Should I learn Spanish from Latin America? Which one should I learn? And I am going to tell you that depends. It depends. You have to base it on your goals. What is your goal? Do you want to go to Spain or to Latin America to work? Do you want to travel to a specific place? Do you have una novia, a boyfriend, a girlfriend? So what is your goal? Why are you learning Spanish? Do you like a specific accent? Is it super hard for you to say Barcelona with the th sound? Or is it not? If it's not too hard for you, then you can choose. Then you can choose between Spain and Latin America. But what I do want to tell you guys is that both accents are completely correct. No one is better than the other one. No one is more correct than the other one. No. Both accents are completely correct. And this is one of the most important things. We do understand each other. If you go from Ecuador to Spain, or if a Spanish person goes to Colombia, we do understand each other. Most of the questions that I hear are, would a person from Spain be understood in Argentina? Or would a Colombian will be able to fit in Spain? Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, guys. Just imagine for a second, there are many types of English as well. Like, for example, the British, the American, the Australian English. All of these have different vocabulary. They have different expressions. They have different accents, but they do understand each other. Okay, so it's the same as in Spanish. We understand each other and we are able to communicate with each other. In fact, for us, it is very, very cool to learn from each other. We actually laugh at our differences. Okay, when you meet someone from another country and you hear some words that you would never hear, okay, or let's say that this type of word is completely another thing in another country, we laugh at that. For us, it's like, oh, so that's how you say it. That's interesting. And we laugh at our differences. We like to learn from each other. That's what makes this language so richful, because we have it all over 3 continents. So for us, it's really cool to learn from each other. And this is super, super important. There is not a better expression, not a better accent. We are the same, okay? So please don't be afraid, okay? What you can do is combine expressions. And I'm gonna address here Primarita, okay? Primarita, she actually started learning Spanish from Colombia, okay? Then here in Jakarta, she started to have classes with a Spanish-speaking person, okay? Her teacher was from Spain, from Madrid, and now she is having classes with her teacher that is from Chile. Okay, so she has experienced all of these accents. She has learned Spanish in all of these places, Colombia, then Spain, and then Chile. And she understands completely, absolutely everyone. She understands, okay? In fact, in Nebrija, for example, Instituto Nebrija is from Madrid, okay? But the teachers that we have are from Chile. I am from Ecuador, and some other teachers that are from Latin America, and we do not have any problem with our students. We use the same book because the grammar is exactly the same. The grammar won't change, okay? So yeah, what we're gonna do now, guys, is we're gonna play the last game. Okay, we're gonna do a cultural test between Spain and Latin America. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna write in the chat the number of the question and then the correct answer. For example, here you have 0A, for example. Or if the question is the question number 3, you're gonna write 3 and then the answer A, B, C. Okay. So after this, we're gonna receive all the questions that you have. So right now we're gonna play this game and then all the questions you have. Okay. Everyone ready? Are you ready in the chat? Ready, ready, ready? Okay. Bye. So the first question is number 1. Which is the capital of Chile? We have A, Salamanca, B, San Antonio, C, Santiago, D, Santa Maria. Let's see, let's see, let's see. What do you think? Okay, everyone is saying 1, C, Santiago, Santiago. And yeah, that's perfectly correct. The capital of Chile is Santiago. Perfect, perfect. Okay, next one. Which series is from Mexico? We have A, Casa de las Flores, B, Elite, C, Always a Witch, or D, Altamar. A, 2A, 2A, 2A. Some of you are saying B. So you're between Casa de las Flores and Elite. But the correct answer is A, Casa de las Flores. Casa de las Flores means House of the Flowers. House of Flowers. Casa de las Flores. Okay, the next one. Which dish is from Spain? A, B, C, or D? From Spain, from Spain. Okay, you're saying A, 3A, or 3D? 3B also? Which one? Let's see. 3D. Yeah, that is the correct answer. Oops, sorry. So yeah, it's 3D. That is tortilla de patata. So it's like a potato omelette. Okay, this is from Spain. Vale, the next one. Number 4. Which place is in Peru? A, B, C, or D? This one is easy. 4D. 4C or 4D? Okay, let's see. In Peru, D is Machu Picchu. Yeah, this is in Lima, Peru, Machu Picchu. This is now considered a temple, but back in the day, this was actually a city. Okay. Number 5, which singer did Despacito? Despacito. Which of these? 5C, Luis Fonsi. Wow, nice. You know him. Yeah, that is great. Number 5 is C, Luis Fonsi. He did Despacito, and it was a huge, huge hit. Then he collaborated with Justin Bieber, so that's when everything was a boom for the Spanish community. Number 6, which music genre is not from Latin America? Not from Latin America. Okay, you're saying 6A, 6A, and yeah, you are correct. 6A. All of these are from Latin America. This is from Peru, this is from Mexico, this is from Colombia, but A, letter A, it's from Spain, and it is flamenco. So flamenco is not from Latin America, it's from Spain. Number 7, The second most populated country in Latin America. Second most populated country in Latin America. 7B, 7B, B. Perfect. C. 7B. So the first most populated country in Latin America is Brazil, but the second most populated country is B, Mexico. Muy bien, muy bien. Perfect. The next one, 8. Which Latina star is not from Cuba? Not from Cuba. This one's tricky. Let's see if you know. C, B, A, D. Wow, here you have all the answers. They look similar. Wow, Tanya, Blanca Suarez, you know the name? That's amazing. And yeah, letter C, okay, is the only female that is not from Cuba. All of these A, B, and D are from Cuba, but Blanca Suarez is actually from Spain. If you have seen the series Las Chicas del Cable, okay, she acts in that series. Las Chicas del Cable is really good. I recommend that series. Number 9. Which Latin American country uses US dollar? US dollar. They're saying 9B. 9B, 9B, 9D, 9B. Okay, so you're between 9B and 9D. So between Argentina and Ecuador. The correct answer in this case is D. It's Ecuador. Believe it or not, my country uses US dollar. We had a president that decided, you know what, we're not going to have our own currency. We're going to use US dollars. And until now, we still use dollars. Next one, 10. Which is the biggest country in Latin America? The biggest. Dominican Republic, Chile, Brazil, or Mexico? Okay, we have 9D or 9B. B or D? So you're between Chile and Mexico. Okay, let's see the correct answer. It's actually C. It's actually Brazil. Brazil is the biggest country in Latin America. Chile and Mexico are pretty big as well, but Brazil is double that. Brazil is on the right of Latin America and it's huge. It's the biggest country. 11. Which country does not have the Amazon forest? This one is hard. This one is hard. We have Bolivia, Suriname, Guyana, or Uruguay. Which country does not have the Amazon forest? What do you think? What do you think? This one's very hard. But they're saying C. 11B or 11C? C or B? Suriname or Guyana? I would have guessed that as well, like any of these, Guyana or Suriname. But the correct answer is Uruguay. Aha! Uruguay does not have the Amazon forest. In fact, the Amazon forest goes, it's like so big that it goes until France, okay? But it actually goes through Suriname, it goes through Guyana, but it doesn't go through Uruguay. They do not have the Amazon forest. Okay, and the last one, 12. Which actor is from Guatemala? From Guatemala. Look at this actors, and which one is not? Oh, which one is from Guatemala? Sorry. No lo sé. I don't know. 12C, 12C, 12C. Wow. That's amazing. How do you know it? But yeah, the correct answer is 12C. It's Oscar Isaac. He is from Guatemala. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna ask anyone who has some questions. Primarita, how do we do this? Through the chat?
Yes, I have compiled some of the questions that we received from YouTube and also from Zoom. I'll just read them to you and then you can answer them, right?
Vale, okay, okay.
Okay, the first one is from YouTube. It's from Didi Nugroho. Tengo una pregunta. ¿Cómo saber o adivinar de dónde son cuando hablan español? Jadi, how do we know the accent or the origins of the people when they speak Spanish?
Okay, that's a great question because it's not easy. It's not easy to guess where are they from. Just hearing the accent is not easy. But what I do recommend is the expressions that we use. When you hear the expressions, same like the audio that you just heard, at first it's really difficult to recognize the accent, but then you start hearing these expressions like chamo or like órale, immediately you know the country. So I would say hear the expressions more than the accent, and then you will know the country.
All right. So next question, also from YouTube. Do Latin American countries still speak their indigenous language? This one is from Juliana. Hola, Julie.
Okay, Juliana, that's a great question. And we do. We still speak our indigenous languages, but the main language we speak is Spanish. For example, I can tell you in Ecuador. In Ecuador, our two official languages are Spanish, and then we have Quechua. It is still considered our official language, but I would say only like quite a few of the population actually speak this language because we do not use it on our daily basis. So we tend to just use Spanish, but we do have our native languages from before. Mm-hmm.
All right, I see someone just raised his hand. Yazid, do you want to ask your question with your microphone? Hola, Yazid, do you want to ask your question or not? Okay, if not, I'm just going to read some more from Zoom. This one is from E. So in Google Translate, which version of Spanish is used? Is it Spanish from Spain or from Latin America? In Google Translate.
It is from Spain. Most of the words that you will find in Google Translate are from Spain. It's difficult to put in Google Translate words from Latin America because we have so many words. Each country has their own words, so they decided to put from Spain. Yeah.
Okay, so next question is from Effie. Related to cola, when it's referring to soda, why is it not called coca like Argentinian? Is it because it slightly sound like cocaine?
Correct. That is exactly why.
It's very dangerous.
Coca, that's exactly why. If we use coca, we're referring to cocaine. So we decided to stop using coca and we use cola. Is the shorten for Coca-Cola, and you can say cola to any type of sodas, but we do not use coca because it's cocaine. Mm-hmm.
Great. Next question is from Nabila. How do we differentiate which R to keep and which R to change to L? I guess this is related to the slide that you have previously. Is it by habit, or is there a formula or a particular vocabulary categories? Wow, sounds very complicated.
To change the R's for the L's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That depends. If you want to use this Caribbean type of Spanish, you can start and talk like them if you want. If you are still trying to learn Spanish, I do not recommend, because you might start making more mistakes by trying to imitate this accent. But yeah, you can use it. And how do you use it? Basically, how I said, I already explained this, but mainly when you have the word beginning with an R, you cannot change it for an L, like Roberto. You cannot change for an L, like Loberto, never. But if the R is in other place, not in the first letter of the word, but in other places, then you can change it. Like carne, which is meat, you can say calne. You can say amol instead of amor, and things like that. When the R is not as vibrant, you can actually change it for an L.
All right, perfect. So next question is from Darman. Which is the clearest accent to learn and improve listening skill? Because he has been having trouble listening to Cuban videos. So do you have a recommendation for a much clearer accent to learn?
Yeah, definitely. If you hear people from Cuba and their accents, it's going to be difficult to hear, even for native speakers. I can tell you that. Because they speak super, super fast, and because they do not pronounce the consonant as they should. So, as I said, the three main countries or the three main cities where you will find this neutral, it's not true, but the neutral as possible accent is from Colombia, from Peru, and from Ecuador. Most of the people actually say that is from Colombia. Colombia has the easiest accent, and a lot of students I've heard that they use the Colombian accent because they hear this accent and it's so clear for them, because they do not cut the words. They do pronounce all the consonants. They do pronounce the S, and they speak slower. So that's the one.
It's true. I can attest to that. Colombian accent is the best. All right. Next question from Nisa. Which one is the better option in learning Spanish, especially for beginners? From Spain or for Latin America?
That depends a lot. For beginners, it doesn't matter. For beginners, you can have teachers from Latin America and teachers from Spain. They will teach you exactly the same thing. In fact, what I do as a teacher is I tend to mix these two. So if I want them to know the accent of Spain, I tried my best to do this type of accent in some words. And sometimes I just pronounce it as an S. Now, which one is easier to study? None. Both are exactly the same. And again, I have to say this: you have to base it on what do you want to do. Why are you learning Spanish? Because you like La Casa de Papel from Spain? Then go ahead and start learning Spanish from Spain. If you like Maluma, baby, if you like Maluma and he's from Colombia, try to hear more Colombian accent, and you will see by yourself which one is the easiest one. Yeah.
All right. Next one is from Regine. Is it okay to use both accents when we're talking or having a conversation? I guess she's asking about using mixed accent between Spain and Latin America.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. In fact, I recommend to do that. As I just said, me as a teacher, I try to do double accents so that we understand every single accent. Of course, I am not doing in the class like the Argentinian accent, but what I do try is to mix the Spanish accent and also the Latin American accent, so that the students choose by themselves. Do you want to do the Spanish accent, or do you want to do the Latin American accent? You can choose by your own. But I think that will be to you, Primarita. You, for example, you started in Colombia. You started learning Spanish in Colombia, but then your teacher was from Spain. Do you mix these two accents?
I honestly don't know which form of Spanish I'm talking right now, because there are neutral grammar and there are neutral accent that I try to. I think my objective is just to have everyone understand me, so I don't really think about what accent I'm currently using. Like, for example, if I'm in like, when I was in Nebrija with a Spaniard teacher, I would be so influenced, like ketularan, with saying gracias instead of gracias. But then when I speak to my Latin American friends, I will go back to saying gracias. So it's really, there's nothing wrong, or there's nothing right in this case, I guess. As long as people understand, it's fine. And I think for us as a non-native speaker, we have an advantage where we can be flexible with our Spanish. Yeah, so for example, if I'm talking to my friends from Nebrija, I would use vosotros all the time. But then when I address my friends from, I would say ustedes. So it's just, I think it's more fun that way. And sometimes it's funny, it's fun and funny. both versions.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right.
As you do, you mix.
Yeah.
You mix it too.
Yeah. No, the next question, Yazid, you want to ask your question?
Vale, gracias. Y bueno, hola a todos, ¿qué pasa?
Bien, ¿qué pasa?
Sí, tengo una pregunta. ¿Y cómo diferenciamos el alfabeto D entre el castellano y el latino? Porque siempre escucho, es muy divertido. Gracias.
Okay, so how do we differentiate Castellano and Spanish?
No, how to differentiate the alphabet D entre el castellano, sí.
La letra D.
La letra D.
Sí, la letra, sí. Entre el castellano y el latino. Gracias.
Okay, la letra D. A ver, let's see, Primarita. D in Spain and D in Latin America. Do you hear any difference?
I don't hear any difference. We say ciudad.
Sí, me parece siempre escucho muy divertido.
Pues, ¿puedes darnos un ejemplo? La diferencia.
Cuando ellos dicen buen día, hola, buen día, pero en España, buen día, it's like a D, not de, but de, buen día.
Interesting. I never heard that. Maybe it's a personal thing, because sometimes it's not just about accent, but personal speech style as well. Cristina, what do you think?
I agree with Primarita. I've never heard this question before. I feel like in Spain and in Latin America, the D is really similar. I would say buen día. And from what I've heard from people from Spain, they say buen dia still. But yeah, I guess it depends on the person or maybe the show where you heard this. But mostly they do pronounce pretty similar the D in this case. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have one more question. We have time for only one more question. This one is from Fuad Bahtiar. Which one is the most respectable manner, accents, vocabulary, or grammar for non-Hispanohablantes in speaking Spanish?
The most respectful one is to use usted. Whether you're in Latin America or whether you're in Spain, you will use usted to address a formal situation or a stranger in a restaurant. You have to use usted. That will be the most polite way to address someone. Talking about vocabulary, that depends. Depends on which country you are. Let's say you say the word coger in Colombia, of course it's gonna be like, oh, sorry, what? But if you're in Spain, it's completely okay. So the vocabulary, it depends on each country.
All right, Fuad, do you have any follow-up questions? I know you asked here, apply the style, but probably mixed up here and there. I'm not sure if you have any follow-up question and you want to ask directly to Cristina from there. Fuad, are you still here? If not, then we'll just move on to the next slide, Cristina. And can you maybe close the blocks because we have to look at the details of the quiz.
One second. Can you see there?
Not yet.
There?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so it's time for quiz because we in Nebrija, we love quiz. Well, we love exams, but we're not going to do an exam on the presentation. But to test your knowledge on today's presentation, we have a quiz with prizes for 3 winners, which is a 15% voucher for all Nebrija's courses. So all you have to do is simply answer these 3 questions correctly on Insta story. And don't forget to mention us at dime.por.que. And also Nebrija, of course, at Nebrija_Jakarta. I don't know if the hashtag is visible here. You can use the hashtag at hashtag Hispanic Week 21 and hashtag HW21 Nebrija, and you have until midnight. Okay, so if you want to participate in this quiz and get the prize, which is the vouchers and also some merchandise from Nebrija and Dime Porque, because this is very exclusive, I think. We have merchandise for Hispanic Week. You have to post until midnight tonight. So before you go to bed, don't forget to post. Okay, who knows, maybe you'll dream about us, right? Okay, so I would recommend you to screenshot all of this because there are 3 questions there. The first one is, what is the Spanish language called in Spain? And that's really easy, right? If you listen to the presentation. And the second one is, what is the formal personal pronoun for third person singular in Spanish? Oh my God, that's a long question, but it's actually very easy. And the third one is, what do the letters C and Z sound like in Latin American pronunciation? All right. So someone is asking, sorry, but this is only available for public accounts. Yes, unfortunately, we have to check your answer. So your account has to be public. Maybe you can open your account for just a little while and then close it after the competition. All right. Nope, it's not for DM. It's actually for Insta story, because if you DM the story, it will the answer it will just get lost in all the mention that we receive. So it's for Insta story. Okay. Any other questions? I guess it's pretty clear. So when you, after you post your story, we will look at them and then we will choose the winners, the 3 winners tomorrow morning, I guess. So yeah, just post as much as you like with the correct answer, of course, and we will pick the best ones and the correct ones, okay? All right, so we are at the end of our session today. Before we go, I would like to remind you that tomorrow we will have a session with Instituto Cervantes, another important Spanish institute in Indonesia. And we will talk about the Arab influence in Spain and in Spanish language. So tomorrow at the same time, you can use the same Zoom meeting ID and also the same YouTube link. It's all there, you can see. And if you don't want to miss it, you can set the reminder on YouTube or set on your calendar for tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for Ana Cristina for the great presentation. It's very informative. It's very fun. I hope you guys learn a lot. And of course, I hope you had fun in this. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you all tomorrow. All right.
Thank you. Gracias, gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Adiós. Gracias, gracias. Thank you. Vale.
Tita, kita perlu foto.
Susah
Oh, ya.
Terlalu banyak, nggak usah.
We're gonna try to take a photo.
Susah sih, banyak banget halamannya dan banyak yang nggak nyalain kamera, jadi nggak apa-apa. Está bien.
Vale, let's see.
Ok, voy a quitar reunión y vamos a reunir un rato, ¿ok?
Vale. Okay, let's take a picture.
Oh, okay.
Vale, 1, 2 y 3. Everyone connect. If you want to be in the picture, yeah. There you go. Okay, let's take a picture. 1, 2 y 3. Vale, muchas gracias.